while I'm working on this young gentleman's face, go ahead and mention that he too has his own comic podcast, Teenage Wasteland. Might want to give that a listen if you are at all interested in comic podcasts. I intend to. I haven't done that yet, but I will. I just went up there and checked the I Show You menu bar window, because that's I Show You is the program I'm using to record this, and I set it to record for 10 minutes, which is the first time I've done that, so I don't know what's going to happen when it gets to 10 minutes and shuts off. I'd hate to think that I was continuing to yammer on, thinking that I was being recorded and wasn't. So I am using the pen tool, as I mentioned. It is Pens Thick and Thin 5, and just by chance, because this is a smaller figure in the background, the size of the pen is currently set at 5. For main characters, the larger characters in the panel, I will usually use a 10 brush, which I can vary the pressure from anywhere from very thick 10 pixels to much smaller, down to a 2 or a 1 by pressure using the Wacom. Now, as I showed you before I started this, I have a little strip of photographs of this young man taped to the side of the monitor, which I occasionally glance to every now and then to make sure I'm not going too far off model with him. And just because he's looking a little bit like Jughead from Archie, that's not my fault. So Dave, don't ask me to change it. I'm not going to do plastic surgery on this guy. It's bad enough that we're killing him in this sequence. So as soon as I get this hair done, I'm going to pause the video and see how much time I have left, if any. There. And Alec, not his name in the... Oh, it is his name in the comic. Okay. Alec had glasses on in his previous panel appearances on the earlier pages, but he's just been spun around and slammed into the well of the edge of the pool rim, so his glasses have gone flying bye-bye. I might have to put them in later. So go up here and pause the video and check the time. Okay, surprised me. I neglected to check record for 10 minutes, so it's going to record as long as I'm willing to allow it. So I'll just keep inking, and when the timer that I have running for set for an hour gets down to about half an hour, I will shut this video off and have to split it up into the required 10-minute increments that YouTube insists upon, which actually I think is a easier, safer way of doing it, rather than having to be distracted by clock watching. And you may ask, well, Paul, why do you have a timer set to 60 minutes? Because I will answer. I have realized through long experience with both Photoshop and Painter that these are memory hog programs, and if you let them run for more than an hour, you may get away with it, but in my experience, you are setting yourself up for a crash. The programs record so much data somewhere on your computer that eventually push has to come to shove, and it will crash on you. It has crashed on me many times. So my rule of thumb now is, when I remember, I set a little digital timer to go off at 60 minutes from the time I turn the program on, and I will take a break. I'll close the file, I'll close the program. Sometimes I only leave the program closed for less than a minute, a few seconds, but it's that act of shutting it down, clear something out of the buffers, and I don't get nearly as many crashes. What you just saw me do, which was Control Z and backing out of a stroke I made and using the eraser tool and erasing a digital ink line, is one of the great advantages of doing this process digitally, because you can change your mind. You can change your mind a lot easier without invoking whiteout, cutting new pieces of Bristol board and pasting them over, either flat out mistakes or just the times you've changed your mind about things. But it can also be a trap. If you don't have confidence in what you're doing, how you're doing it, the style you're trying to portray, your style, or if you are just indecisive by nature, or you're having an indecisive day, it takes a long time to lay down a line that you're willing to live with, because you keep going back and changing it and changing it and changing it. But I've been a commercial artist long enough to know that it's got to go out the door. You make your best decision and you move on. Okay, that is, you're about to see the little square cursor indicator for the pen change to the watch. Whenever you see that happens, that means I have saved it. Saved the file, which is another important thing in digital work process. Save often, save regularly, save like the devil is coming up on your processor, because he is